What do you guys think? Should I leave that on? And I had the decency to shave for everybody.
You Nelly or what?
What?
You want to think you're Nelly?
I had the decency to shave for everyone. Let's see how this does. This could either
we don't need it now.
That could either be fireworks or.
You need to start that one.
We are
live.
We're live. We're going.
Everybody say hi to Luca.
Yeah, I think
Luca has grown.
I don't know if it's just these, but we're really hot. We're really hot. That's really hot on mine. It's a film and television term. It's really hot.
Hey guys.
That one's okay.
How's it all going over there?
Maybe it's just my forehead. I don't know.
Probably your forehead. Steve. There's lots of Steves coming in here. All right.
This is Luca.
Welcome everybody to a special holiday edition of Two Dads United. This will be our last one before Christmas, right?
It will be.
Unfortunately.
You're off to Palm Springs?
I'm going to Palm Springs tomorrow. Taking Luca with me.
No, you're not. It's his first Christmas.
It is your first Christmas, eh, buddy?
His mom would destroy you.
Yeah, that's true. She's giving me mean mugging right now over there. What's happening?
So what do you got? Who's going to Palm Springs though?
My family. My mom is being there. My mom's fiance, because she's engaged now, which is pretty exciting.
He's a good fellow.
My sister, my brother, my wife, my daughter, and my dog. So full fam in the house. Someone's asking if we're brothers. Do we look like brothers? I mean, he could be my dad.
Uncle Steve.
That was lazy, Stuart. That was lazy. Lazy banter.
All right, Steve. Let's kick off this podcast because a lot of people are just throwing in the comments here on the great news that came in today, my friends. Congratulations, you were a nominee for the Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame. Just talk me through how that felt, getting the news, where you got it, what this means to you potentially. You wouldn't find out until September.
Yeah.
Whether you are inducted to the Hall of Fame, but just congrats,
Actually,
my friend.
thank you. I think we find out in April.
In April.
And the induction's like September or something like that. Thanks. It's a weird one because it's like the highest honor in the game, right? And again, it's like such an important like institution in our game because it documents the history. And so I remember going there as a player with the Suns, like my first or second year back with the Suns, 2005 maybe. And you just like, it's just an incredible place, right? To see all the history of Canadian, Dr. James Naismith invented the game in Springfield, Mass. That's where the Hall of Fame is, at a YMCA. And like from this PE teacher, I don't want to diminish him. I think he was a doctor of some sorts, but this doctor of physical education maybe set up these peach baskets in this old gym, and it became what it is today, like a billion upon $billion industry, but more importantly, a game that's brought so much joy to so many people and given someone like me and millions of other kids something to dream about and focus on and to disappear with. So
now I know it's nothing you think about while you're in the middle of your career, though, right?
Sure.
I mean, I know it's always a nice accolade or to think about of being in the Hall of Fame, and you just go out. You went out there every day, tried to perform your best, to win, to be successful, etc. And then now, have you ever had a chance after you retired to think like, it'd be pretty cool to be in the Hall of Fame one day?
Yeah, I'm not the type of person that, like, this is a tricky question to answer because I don't want to come off the wrong way, but I'm not the type of person to like look forward to things like the Hall of Fame. Like, if anything, I'm sheepish about it. I respect so much all the people that are already in there and that what our game means to people, and just what it's just so cool. And so I don't like to like put myself in that sort of situation. I don't like to necessarily like anticipate that. Like some people might be, and they should be, like eagerly anticipating the opportunity to go in if they're a candidate. But I'm almost like wow, like to be with my heroes, like to be in that company is almost like too much. I'm a kid that had one scholarship offer, and here I am with an opportunity to perhaps go in the Hall of Fame and to be amongst all those people. And so I'm almost more like, what if I do get in? I've got anxiety about having to make a speech. Like, this is the Hall of Fame.
I'll give it for you.
Yeah, Jesus. Right, how much time do you have? But you know what I mean? Like, I almost think about weird stuff like that.
By the way, Ezra over here, We're getting some microphone. Apparently, they can't hear Steve too well. So I don't know what we want to do. Either Steve has to speak louder. Can you hear me okay? With the old broadcaster voice here. And some people have told you to speak into the mic. Yeah, I know we're not plugged in this time because we thought it would be nice and loud for you guys. Someone says, I can't hear Steve, so I'll log off. I have to listen to that little blonde idiot again. I'm just kidding, I made that up. Why'd you get all excited? I think that was a real comment.
I'll try to speak up.
Luca, what do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah.
I hope he plays basketball. I hope he likes it. I hope he likes every sport.
You probably hope he likes soccer more.
A little bit. I don't care. I just want him to have fun, enjoy himself.
What do you think, Lukis? You want to go to Daddy? Okay.
So I want to talk to you about Kicking for Houston.
Oh, man.
Congratulations. For those of you who don't know, Stu organized his hometown, Houston. Obviously had Hurricane Harvey this summer. And gosh, what a disaster. So many people being displaced, losing their home. Imagine that, like you work your whole life to have a home, whether you own it or rent it or build it, or whatever the state that you have worked to secure is all relative. And then you
devastated, yeah.
Like from one day to the next, you're off and your house is flooded or your apartment or whatever it may be. So such a horrible thing. And it was, I always feel like, so Stu arranged this incredible celebrity soccer game, a lot of, current and ex-US national team members, and a bunch of celebrities. And it was an unbelievable event, great atmosphere, incredibly fun to take part in. But
you got yourself a goal.
Got myself a goal, mate. Was there any doubt? I think you led the charge, and we raised well over $300,000.
Yeah, we're at $310,000 right now, which is pretty cool. Which
was awesome. So I commend you. Like that's not easy to do, and it takes a lot of heart and will. And I know having he's got his little eczema, he's scratching away.
On the old head there.
But having had my own charity and foundation, I know how much work it takes, and so that's why I've got someone to do the majority of it for me. But I know early on when I was doing a lot more and spreading myself too thin and being no good to anybody, how difficult that can be. And so congrats, thank you, and what an incredible thing for you to raise so much money for people in Houston. And I want to say one more thing. Stu also set up an opportunity for a few families to come, and we were there as participants the day before the match to give them mattresses, pillows, sheets, toys for their kids. I took my kids to be a part of it, and it was an incredibly impactful and important trip for my family. So I had a blast as a dad and with the kids, and to experience that was fantastic.
I think the Friday that touched me. I mean, the Saturday was really cool for me to see everything come together, and everything that you've been working for, from emails every day and phone calls. And I'm not going to bore everybody to death here that hasn't seen it, but for me, like, to stand there on the field after, make that last penalty, which I haven't been so nervous since MLS Cup 2006, because everyone was the Matt Reese moment. I got to tell that story if I haven't already, but just I don't know, seeing all that come together. But then when I saw the pieces cut together on the show on the Sunday of the Friday giving, where we went into the families, and I've had some nice emails from some of them, and talking to those families of just saying what a great moment that was for them, and everything that they lost in their home, and just to have that, all the athletes, I thought that was really cool. I mean, we had 12 people, I think, 12 world-class athletes that sat there and participated in that. So, everything that came together. I would love to do this again sometime at some point when it makes sense.
It was amazing.
Kick-in.
Absolutely. I haven't seen. We should talk about that. But I haven't seen the clips of the families, but I know what it meant to me, because I think a lot of times, especially the world we're living in today, like, it is weekly. How it's despair. It comes in weekly doses on our planet these days, whether it's political, the environment, disasters, mass shootings, go down the line, like, injustice, inequality, police brutality, whatever it is. We're facing so many difficulties at this time in our world. Like, you're so detached sometimes. You know, even the LA fires, like I felt like or the California fires, when they started to come to LA, I mean, it's 30 minutes from here.
Is that Alexi? Alexi's on. He said, "Hey guys, what are we drinking tonight?"
Philip Roderer. No, just kidding.
Lex, sorry about the nightmare of travel you had home. Did you hear about his travel?
Worse.
He got caught in Atlanta on the way home from Houston. Power outage, the whole airport black.
Couldn't get a direct?
Couldn't. He wanted to fly Delta and get his air miles. So actually, I say it's your own fault for not going direct to Palm Springs and going through Atlanta to get the little mileage topper-upper at the end of the year.
God, the points champion.
All right, Steve. Dave Powers wants to know thoughts on El Classico.
Well, it's actually
Lexi with the comeback.
What?
Nothing compared to the problems of the folks in Houston.
Oh, what a sweetheart. God,
what a
Lex.
guy.
God.
He's just jealous that
Jeez.
we're on Periscope right now, and Periscope's his thing. And,
Yeah,
he gets
no comeback to that.
Yeah.
He's just like, you know, a little banter, and he just crushed us.
All right, Classico.
Classico, amazing Classico because Madrid clearly has more talented team. Barcelona is crushing it this year in La Liga.
Valverde's done an amazing job. But I want your take on Madrid, though.
But here's my thing. Madrid's finding themselves. Here's my point, is that as they find themselves, and they'll round out into a terrific team this year in the league, will it be too late if Barcelona win this game? Because I think if they win this game, they go up 14 points.
Yeah. The whole infatuation with... Isn't it amazing? Like a couple games ago, people were talking about Real Madrid and saying, "Oh, well, they're struggling in the league. Ronaldo's not scoring in the league, even though he's scoring a record amount of goals in the Champions League still." But Zidane is a game away from being fired. I mean, this is a guy 6 months ago when he won the treble and he won the Champions League, and everyone was saying could be the greatest manager of all time in the years to come because of what he'd been able to do with Madrid in such a short time. I know some of that is fake news. It's media pressure. It's built up from the fans. But you know, I look at that Madrid team and they lost your Tottenham boys in Champions League. But I wouldn't want to play them in a game that really counts.
No, come on, the experience, the talent. But I'll you know, obviously, you know, this is a little different analogy. But being a consultant for the Warriors, you know, the Warriors have been in the finals 3 years in a row. Been under a microscope, won 2 championships, adapting to new players. You know, it takes a toll, right? And Madrid's in a similar situation, going to the finals of Champions League, the World Club Championships, being in the hunt in La Liga.
So how do you handle that with the Warriors?
Here's my thing, is that the Warriors, Steve Kerr had a great saying earlier in the year that he heard from Chuck Daly, who, when he went through it with the Pistons, he's like, sometimes you just got to wait on your team. And, you know, I know they're professional and you expect them to be flying every game, but the reality is they're human. And you have ups and downs. You have periods where you don't play your best, you don't feel your best, you don't find that cohesion or chemistry or motivation. And the guy could still be out there trying to practice as hard as he can, but the spark isn't there, right? And so you have to wait for your team, and when your team comes around, that you get going. But for Madrid, how long can you wait? Because, like for the Warriors, they can wait to the playoffs. Because in America, the regular season doesn't work.
In La Liga.
Right. In La Liga, you can it be Barcelona, like, okay, if they don't have a great second half, but they're 14 points up, they can still win the title. So it's a different competition, and I think that it makes for a fascinating game this weekend. And they're saying there's going to be some incredible numbers on viewership.
I like this question because this is kind of one we've delved into a little bit in the pod in the past. Danny Griswold says, what is your overall opinion on kids in sports? Is it more important for them to have fun or be competitive? How hard is it too hard to press your kids to excel in sports? I mean, that's a big question.
But my easy answer is it's about education. So you teach your kids to enjoy sports, then to enjoy competing, and to compete with balance. So you are going to try your very best. You are going to learn to fight for everything, and at the same time, you're going to learn where the line is. And you're going to know that sports start because they're fun. You end up loving to compete and challenge yourself and be the best you can be. And you also learn where the line is, and we all cross it at times. And you learn when you've crossed it and how you come back and how you balance that.
But what's the competitive element for you in there, though, right? I mean, there's the teaching. I see it as twofold. I see as kids when they're younger, if you start to lag behind on the development, or you're maybe not as good, you start to enjoy it a little bit less. You're losing. Yeah. Nobody really likes to lose, because we grew up in a society and a culture where winning is rewarded and winning is encouraged, because you want to bet, you want to be the best, you want to teach that life skill as well the older you get in life. But I think too there's that element of education that comes from the parents, right? And how can you make it fun while still teaching the right things, and not just fundamental skills within that sport, but also how to be a good teammate.
Yeah.
How to be positive, how to learn from mistakes. All these different things that go into that, I think, make that perfect recipe. If you could just sprinkle dust, right?
I 100%. I would say that I think a great approach for let's educate parents to approach this as development, as a human being, then as an athlete, and that to look at it as a big picture development as a human being. So instead of saying, okay, where's my kid? Is he on the A team? How many goals did he get? Or how many baskets, how many points is he averaging? Say, where's my kid in his development? 1, is he enjoying it? 2, is he learning? 3, is he trying his best? Because when a kid's enjoying it and learning, he's gonna try harder, right? If those things start to fall into place, the kid's developing, right? So I think it's about, and then you learn to teach kids about, you're competing with yourself. So it's not like, can I beat you? It's, can I play to the best of my abilities?
But you're always judging yourself against other
You are, but
players,
that's my point, is that big picture is that's human, that's innate, because we fall into that emotional battle. But I think what's important is to educate parents, educate kids that, yes, you're gonna get into that sometimes, but let's all take a step back from time to time and say, like, are you trying your best? Are you enjoying it? Are you learning? If that's the case, I can guarantee you're developing. Right? If you're trying your best, you're enjoying it, and you're learning. You know what I mean? So like,
I completely agree. I'm playing devil's advocate here, and I'm the parent that wants my kid to get the Division I scholarship, or wants my kid to be better than you because there's a scout at the game, and I want my kid to show better.
Yeah.
How do you harness that as a parent? First of all, and then as the kid yourself, feeling that pressure, right? Because your parent is pushing you and saying, don't pass to him, take the three-pointer, knock it down, or take the shot from outside the 18. Like, you need to show well today.
I'm saying that parents need to take a step back and have a bigger picture view, because, and let me give you, let's talk about it. You have 2 guys on the couch right here. One, if you're not listening, has been nominated to the Hall of Fame. Another one who played in the Premier League and the World Cup. 1 scholarship offer, but ended up walking on because he wanted to play at a better school. I mean, we both made it in the end. So it's about a big picture development. It's about having balance. It's about not crossing the line from being a parent to being, communist bloc Olympic trainer, and giving a kid an opportunity to develop, love the game, enjoy it as long as they can, because they might do it the rest of their life, which is important for them. Learning life lessons through being a teammate, learning to succeed, fail, learning to make a plan, set goals, hold yourself accountable, refine your approach. But as a parent, you have to understand, like, development comes in all different stages. You and I develop late.
Yeah.
Other people develop early. The ones that develop early, there's different challenges. How do you maintain that development, right? They've spiked like this. How do you maintain that so the other kids just don't go flying by them? Because momentum is a big part of it too. So I would just say, parents have to take a step back, look at this thing globally, look at it in a big picture, and say, where is my child as a human being? As we evolve in sports, we realize how important someone's humility is, their humanity.
Yeah.
To be a teammate, to be able to respond, to be resilient. Things that they say at Barcelona, after years and years of developing some of the best footballers, soccer players on the planet, the key predictor of success is resilience. So it doesn't matter how fast you are, how athletic, how strong, how skillful. You could be a magician with the ball. How you
respond to that time after time.
How you respond to challenges, how you respond every day to coaching, how you respond to someone setting challenges.
I'd agree with that. This brings up an interesting one. I don't know if Alexi's still on here listening. He's probably fell asleep 20 minutes ago. But there's a big debate right now in U.S. soccer and the development structure, right? The pay-to-play. How are we going to restructure youth soccer? How is developmental academies the right way? College soccer has been lagging behind a little bit. Everyone thinks that, because of what Pulisic has done and gone to Germany and gone to Dortmund at 16 because he had a Croatian passport, that he has now become what everybody needs to do. and Alexi tweeted something the other day about college soccer, and everybody is just beating up on college soccer. And I do think the college soccer system needs to change because right now they play a 3-month competitive season, and then these players are expected to go professional, right? But for someone like me, I needed college, and this goes back to what you were talking about, development. And I wasn't ready physically, mentally, off the field, maturity-wise, like all these different things. I learned good habits in college. I learned from senior pros. I learned diet. I learned how to be better in the weight room. I learned accountability because if I didn't turn up to class, then I wasn't allowed to play in the game. It just gave structure to my life, which I had not had before because I was kind of this kid that thought I was a little bit of a hot shot and had success at youth soccer and was always talented, but not all the pieces, right? So everyone kind of identified me from a young age as he's got something like him, ODP team, regional team, never made the next step up until I went to college and kind of rounded out what I was. So, could that happen in the development academy in the right environment? Maybe, but I needed the structure and the system that college soccer had provided for me. I only went for a year and then I went pro, but it was a really important year as part of my development into becoming that person that I was. And even I continued that development through Houston. I mean, at my first year in Houston, I was partying 3-4 nights a week. I was the hometown kid. I signed a pro contract. I was making $30,000 a year. Like, have a look in the mirror, Like,
you're loving it.
But I thought I was a hot shot, and it took John Spencer, actually one of the assistant coaches, dragged me aside and was like, "Don't waste this. This is your one chance that you get to do this, and if you waste it, you're gonna forever look back on that on these moments and say, what could I have done better? Don't be that guy." And make sure you take care of the little things, and I did.
Well, I think that's a great story. I think I'm a big believer that there is no development without competition.
Yeah.
So you can have the best structure, the best system, the best academy or environment for someone to practice every day, but if they're not continually competing, every day setting a standard that I have to fight every day. That's what breeds development, because you are constantly reaching and striving to attain a level and a standard every day.
Yeah.
So for you, it was really important that you said, I'm not going to take this scholarship offer to a mid-major, a smaller school. I'm going to go to Auburn. I'm going to play at ACC at the time.
Clemson, yeah.
Clemson,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, Auburn,
Clemson. I'm going to walk on and SEC, right?
Yeah, ACC.
SEC, sorry. I'm going to walk on. I'm going to challenge myself at a higher level, right?
Yeah, I needed to.
Okay, so that worked for you because you went there, you realized, I got to prove myself. They didn't even offer me a scholarship. I got to fight, right? So you were in a knife fight every day to prove yourself. Another kid who had 50 scholarship offers chose Auburn, rolls into school, is the big man on campus. Everyone's catering to him. He doesn't have to train hard or well to start in the games.
He can kind of glide through.
Doesn't even have to play well to start the next weekend and rinse and repeat for 2, 3, 4 years, right? And I might be speaking out of turn, but my experience looking at a lot of our draft picks with the Whitecaps is the NCAA kids, are going to come into professional soccer. They all are athletic. They're all talented. They all are good on the ball, but they're in a different position to a kid that's come from Latin America or Europe who's been in a knife fight. Because what happens in those countries, 12 years old, you at least, by even earlier, you join an academy, and if you don't do well, you're out at the end of the year.
Yeah, and then you're sweeping the streets.
You're 13, you're 14, you're out.
Yeah.
So every year you're in a competitive environment, which breeds striving, fighting, mentality, personality, ability to handle failure and defeat. If you don't handle defeats, whether it's one-on-one battles or weeks or coaches challenging you, you're out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Right? So the kids that survive typically have a better mentality. And so a lot of our NCAA kids, I think, they're in a whole new world when they make it to the MLS, because they're like, wait a minute. Like I trained half speed. Not saying they did, but they could train half speed.
No, but then they get there and they're thinking, oh crap, I could have been doing more the last couple of years. Right?
And soccer's an 11-month sport instead of 3 months and then 3 months of practice. So what I guess my point is that development is, people develop at different stages. And so where you are on that spectrum is important. For you, it worked to go to college. For the top maybe 20 kids in the United States, maybe more, maybe less, maybe it's not enough. Like maybe it's too easy for them. They need to be challenged.
Yeah.
They need to be in a competitive
and that comes
environment.
Down to the coach too, right?
They need to be in an environment where they're pushed. They're like, you ideally always want to be playing against people that are better than you. So when you went to Clemson, you were playing against people that are better than you.
Absolutely,
because they had scholarships and you didn't. Now I think you developed in that 6 to 12 months, 18-month window to where you became better than them, obviously, and moved on. But if you had tried to go to England out of high school, maybe you get sent back, embarrassed.
Well, I went after my first year in college and still came back to MLS. But then joined the best team in Major League Soccer and wasn't a starter on that team for a year and a half, and behind Dwayne, who you saw play, and Ricardo Clark and all these guys. There was actually one question I wanted to come back to on here. I think it was a good one. It was up here about, it was right up here, about other activities to engage your kids in. Yeah, besides, it's from Sylvia Chong. Besides sports, what other activities do you think are important for kids to engage beyond sports? Because I think this is an interesting one, because we talk about different balance in different sports and like never just playing one sport, because you and I both found an incredible amount of just enjoyment from playing other sports and growing up: soccer, basketball, tennis, golf. Rugby, I played.
I did as well.
Played hockey too.
I played
right?
rugby, hockey.
Yeah, rugby, hockey. So, but outside of that, I mean, what was something that, because it wasn't school.
Ideally, they're well-rounded, right? You want to expose them to everything: music, arts, sports, education, whatever it may be, tech. I think there's only so much you can do in a day, as I'm finding with my kids. Now my daughters are 13. Our situation is I drop them off at the bus, they take the bus to school, long school day. By the time they get home, I pick them up from the bus at 4:30. They have volleyball twice a week and tutoring twice a week. That leaves Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday they have volleyball. We're talking, they get home, it's dark in the winter, it's dark 40 minutes after they get here, and they have tutoring and volleyball every school week. By the time you get to bed, it's a race. Sometimes after tutoring or after volleyball, they still have a lot of work to do, right? And so how do I get them into other sports? How do I get them into music? How do I get them into the arts? So it's about if in an ideal world, you expose them to as many things, you open their brain and their way of thinking by that exposure. It's not easy to do, but I'm an advocate for having them experience as many things as possible and seeing what they gravitate towards, and also seeing the benefits of that variety and diversity and how it can affect them and what they ultimately end up pursuing, if they're lucky enough to find something they want to pursue. And that's the biggest thing for me is, if there was one gift I could give my kids, it was that they found something they really love.
Clarity.
They really just love something, because then
because you and I both had that, right?
Yeah.
We got to play a sport for a living, right? And when you were a kid, you tweeted out a picture today of you as a little kid, and just kind of thanked your parents and all the people that helped you get to where you were in your career and where you are today, and as part of that nomination for the Hall of Fame. But it is pretty crazy to go back and think about being not that young, but a little bit older. And I told my mom has all my school papers from when I was 6, 7 years old, and they said, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" Professional soccer player. I want to buy my mom a house in Spain, and that's all I wanted to do. Well, now we own a soccer team in Spain. She's asking when I'm going to buy the house. You have to wait a little bit when we get back up to La Liga. But it's surreal to think that, right? But even up until when I was 16, 17, your parents are supporting you through this dream of yours, but never fully being like, I'm going to bet the mortgage that my kid's going to be a professional athlete.
Neither of our parents believed our kids would, but I would say the parallels, the things that we share in common are, you had 2 underdogs, 2 late bloomers. You had 2 sets of parents that you have 2 sets of parents that are honest.
Did we lose this one? Sorry, phone call.
You have 2 sets of parents that are honest, supportive. Right?
Oh, they've canceled it. How do we go back on? Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Oh no, we're replaying our episode.
Uh-oh.
Nobody wants to watch that.
Anyways, what I had to say was solely useless. But I'm saying, what we had in common is we're 2 guys that, late bloomers, underdogs, had both had two sets of parents that were super supportive, yet at the same time were honest and set boundaries with us. You know, there was a system of discipline and reward, and you know,
unfortunately,
yeah, exactly.
I got in trouble a little too much.
I got in trouble myself, but those things shape us. And so my point is that, you know, the reality is for a lot of parents that take this too seriously with their kids is worry about your kids' overall development, right? Your kids' overall health, their balance, their ability to adapt to new situations is going to be largely dependent on your ability to support, set boundaries, and not have these outsized expectations of that they're going to conquer the world. Because neither one of our parents thought we were going to. Yeah, neither one of our parents thought we were going to make it, right? I mean,
I would agree with that. Yeah. All right. You guys want to take some questions here? Fire away. We are looking at the comments. Instagram, we're giving you some love over there too. Somebody just said, "I dare you to slap Stu in the face."
I would never do that.
Why would you do that? Why would you even encourage that?
I would never do that.
Can I chat live, Carl Greenberg, about your Bolton dice, pal?
Oh my goodness, this.
Someone said
Trump. Someone in the background wants to talk about Trump. What a loon.
There's an infatuation with Lonzo Ball.
But people, you know, we live in a world of reality TV. So we have Lonzo Ball that really
has a show on Facebook.
Is a terrific young basketball player. I believe in him. I think he's going to be a really good player. But people are infatuated with him because we love reality TV, and his dad's created an incredible amount of buzz around himself.
He just yanked his kids out of school, and they're playing pro in Europe.
And so people are infatuated with Lonzo when the reality is, you know, while he is one of the best young prospects in the world, he's no different than the other top 10, 20 prospects in the world, except he has a dad that's capitalizing on people's infatuation with following reality sort of.
A lot of people are talking
TV.
about Kuzma.
Love Kuzma. He's you know, that's another. So Kuzma is interesting. He's definitely you know, one of the top rookies. You know, I think was a second-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, or a lower draft pick. But here's a guy that, when we talk about being at different levels of the development spectrum, you know, here's a guy that 6 to 12 months ago is thought of as definite second-round pick, say, or, you know, later pick. Now he comes out with Lakers. He had 38 points last game against Houston.
So is he known as a better rookie than Lonzo?
Right now he's having a better season than Lonzo. And I think people are saying that he maybe has more potential than Lonzo, but Lonzo has a gift that he can pass and make plays. But Kuzma is a player that, you know, is developed. They're in different stages of development. Lonzo is here, Kuzma is here. Now Kuzma's here, Lonzo's here. What happens in a year? Like, you have to be patient. I mean, these guys,
they're rookies, right?
These guys are 20 years old, 20, 21 years old. You can't, like, you have to start to project a little bit of where are they going to be in 2 or 3 years, not start, like,
thinking about them being Hall of Famers.
You can't.
Which leads me to this question here. Someone said about your speech. He said, how legendary is your Hall of Fame speech going to be if you get inducted? And I said, he is going to, twitchy.
Yeah,
he'll have a few pints before he's out there, I promise you.
Squeaky bum time. Yeah, I mean,
and I'll be in the front row heckling. Absolutely. If I get invited. I missed the Phoenix Ring of Fire one. I was really devastated
Ring
about
of Fire? Jesus, that's after a Vindaloo.
What is it?
It's the Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. Well, it would make sense.
Ring of Fire.
Fire.
Come on, it's disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, man, we're turning up here.
Yeah, somebody's better be there.
Corrected me.
Giannis in 2-3 years could be the best player in the league. Simple as that.
D-Book.
Love Devin Booker. I mean, guys.
Ring of Fire. See, everybody loves the Ring of Fire. I'm going to call Sarver and tell him we should change it.
Yeah, exactly. Devin Booker's got a competitive streak, and I love it.
Do either of you see difficulties raising your kids in more wealthy environments than you have grown up in? If so, what concerns you?
1,000%. You know, I just worry about taking away their hunger. Like you know, like my kids aren't big material kids. They don't have like 1,000 toys, but they want for nothing. Yeah. You know, like so that bothers me.
I've always worried about that, but it is like that double-edged sword of you work so hard your entire life to be able to provide for your family, right?
Sure.
And then how do you balance that with your own family? And I think that comes down to yourself and what you give within your means, right? And how you do that. I think there's no perfect answer there.
No, there's not.
Absolutely
And
not.
here's my issue is that like you can give your kids everything that you've earned over your life and make life easy for them, but the greatest gift you can give your kids really is hunger.
Yeah.
Like, so trying to find that balance of like, obviously not starving them literally, but giving them that, finding that passion, that hunger to like really want to be the best they can be at something is the greatest gift you could have. So
I mean, my dad, I remember they could have bought me my first car, and they made me go and, I was sacking groceries at H-E-B, $5.40 an hour. They made me pay off. They made me get to half the car. They paid the other half, and then I still had to pay it off to them over time. And I remember just being so mad because I'm like, you could buy me that car. But like the life lesson of that, of like, you got to earn it. If you want a car, you got to pay for your own car. You got to pay for the gas too. Because I always used to try a trick in high school of knowing that my dad would want to drive my car every now and again. I would never fill the tank more than halfway because I would want it to be low when he got in it, so he'd give me a full tank.
Oh, you bugger. But I think those are the challenges that, we talk about like development of athletes is resilience is like, like you can provide those challenges. Your parents did it for you. My parents did it for me. And I was lucky enough to have a lot of coaches like the one who put his arm around you and said, don't waste this, who set challenges for you. So, like there is an art and a science to coaching and for people to overcome and to learn. And like you can also shape those to like what someone can handle, you throw at them. Right? So maybe the challenge for me isn't as big as it is for you, but you got to continually throw challenges at people. If they're not stimulated by challenges, they're not continually trying to fight and strive and overcome, their development is going to be stymied.
But isn't it interesting? A lot of times that comes not from your parents. Your parents can try, or you can try that with your kids, but at the end of the day, you're still their dad, right? And they don't necessarily see you as that person that would maybe push the right buttons for something. So maybe for me at 16, it was a coach that put his arm around me and of my soccer team, or it was a teacher at school that believed in my potential and you would listen to that person because you respected them in that lane, that fashion, right? And with my parents, it was always like, Dad, stop it. Like I've heard it a million times.
But my counterpoint to that is that you would respond better to someone outside the house, right? Yeah. But your dad set the challenge. You're not buying your car. Yeah, I know I can afford it. You're going to work at H-E-B and you're going to earn half of it, right? So he set a challenge that you're rolling your eyes at and you're pissed at, but then that challenge led to you accepting the challenge from your coach, right? Yeah. So there's...
No, it all comes from within the household.
The household is everything.
I 100% agree. And I wish I would pay money to have the behind the scenes conversations of your parents when you did things in the house or the arguments they had over you as a kid, or how they play good cop, bad cop, and all these different things now you have within your own relationships in life. And I will have with a daughter, and that's
nice. That'd be amazing to hear back. Like I can't imagine
Did Clemson prevent you from reaching your video game potential?
He was. This guy was
still a pro gamer, man.
He was a pro gamer.
Counter-Striker.
You actually might have. I don't know. You could add I don't know. They say they don't have a big career though. Gamers, they're short, right?
No game. Oh, I guess your finger speed slows down.
Apparently,
I'm dead serious.
I was gonna say
these guys make
big money. He also was a big time poker player.
Oh, don't get me.
God, this guy's a man of many talents.
I love playing poker, man. That was the back.
Never
of the day.
played in my life. Don't know the rules.
Really?
Not a clue.
I didn't. Funny story. I did do really well in Texas Hold'em, but that wasn't the funny story. I had never played the card game in high school. My friends would want to play for $20. Hated it. Didn't want to lose a single penny of my own money. Sure. Then one of my buddies taught me slowly when I was in college, and found out for whatever reason I was able to play the game pretty well. And Dominic Kinnear, before I took the penalty in MLS Cup, he told the story in the press conference after. They said, well, why would you let a 19-year-old take a penalty in the Cup final? And he goes, this kid plays Texas Hold'em for big stakes and poker. He goes, he has no worries. He's not scared. He's not fazed by the moment. He's like, I wasn't scared to throw him in and take a penalty. Literally, no, I was like this when I took
scared shitless. Tell them Matt Reese story.
Oh yeah, Matt Reese.
Matt Reese, who's a long time and great MLS goalkeeper, now an assistant coach with the national team. What?
Yeah, so MLS Cup 2006.
19.
I was 19 years old. We got, it was 0-0, extra time. Taylor Twellman scored for the Revolution. Dominic Kinnear had told me, it was like 5 minutes before the end of the game, he said, I'm going to put you in for penalties to take a penalty. I said, absolutely, put me in. Twellman scores, he says, go in now. So Clinton Dempsey was playing in that game, actually. I run on the field, kickoff, we run straight down. I didn't touch the ball, so I don't want to take any credit here. Brian Mullen crossed it, Chingy heads it in, back post, 1-1. So now I'm like, what do I do? I'm on the field, it's 1-1. I haven't had any instructions. Now I have to play, get in the rhythm. Whistle goes, penalties. So we all went over to the side. Dominic Kinnear says, who wants to take a penalty? He goes around the circle, and I said, yes, absolutely, I want to take one. That's the whole reason I got subbed into the game.
Did you really want to take one? Or were you like, I had no, I have to be brave?
I absolutely wanted to. I absolutely wanted to. And because I don't know, I saw those moments as, like, this is why you play this sport, right?
Yeah.
Like, step up, and if you miss, you miss.
Yeah.
But, like, you have a chance to be a hero here. And
put yourself in the fire.
Yeah, I wanted to do that. So I always wanted to go second. I didn't want to shoot first. I don't know why I was, like, the first I felt there was more pressure. If the first guy missed, there's zero pressure on number two. First guy scored, still the same pressure as the first one. So I walk up to get the ball had bounced out of the net.
What were you, first, second?
Second. Both teams scored. So I go up, and the ball had like rolled out of the net.
So you're feeling a lot of pressure.
Walking towards me. I'm feeling the pressure. It was a long walk from halfway. And he grabs the ball, and he walks it out to the penalty spot. And he just shoves it in my chest pretty strong. And he looks me deadpan in the eyes. And he goes, can I curse?
Yeah, you can curse.
Where are you going to put it, you little bitch? And I was like...
shitting yourself.
Yeah. I tried to just downplay it like it didn't affect me, but in my head I was thinking, oh my God.
What have I signed myself up for?
So my penalty was good technique, smash it down the middle, pace. So I walked back. He'd never seen me take a penalty before because I'd never taken one professionally, and I think he was just thinking, this young kid, I'm going to try and guess which way I'm going to wait until he shoots. So I'm about to hit it. I take a peek up as I'm hitting it, and he stayed in the middle. And I just was like, oh, shit. And so I kind of adjusted my body at the end, took a chunk out of the grass, and just blasted it in the top corner. I mean, upper 90. The best penalty. Bruce Arena was on the commentary, and I remember watching it back after. He goes, that's one of the best penalties I have ever seen in this type of situation. He hit it so pure. I was like, I shaked it in the top corner, but I didn't care. After that goal, I swear to you, I could not. In that instant moment, I couldn't have cared if we lost because I was like,
I did it.
I've done my part. Like, guys, you go get it done.
You know what my dad always says, and we roll our eyes, is fortune favors the brave, right? Yeah. You put your hand up. You said, I'll take it. You stepped up, 19 years old.
And I did turn around to Reese, and I gave it
Did you?
One of those. That's where I was putting it.
We play soccer with Matt sometimes. Great guy.
Yeah, we laugh about that moment all the time.
What an awesome
thing. And he was
thing.
like, I thought I had you. Yeah. And I said, you did.
Yeah, you did. You did.
He actually caused me to get off my body. Anyways.
That's amazing.
Holy smokes. Best soccer player right now, Messi.
Yep.
I know your answer already. All right, let's take
a little fella named Lionel.
I gotta pick my aunt up from the airport. What time have we got, guys? Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Make sure you subscribe to all our channels.
7-Eleven.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Two Dads United. We tell you guys a lot, but we'll continue to tell you because you can never be told enough. I saw that.
I was making sure that I did the same face to every camera. I don't know why I said that. Love you guys. We love you too. What is it about?
Any jokes? You got any
What
jokes?
is it about? I mean, we'll never know what it's about.
What do you call a girl off in the distance?
I don't know.
Dot. Because she's small.
It's a good one.
You got any jokes, Ed?
I have. What did you say? What do you call an Italian with a rubber toe?
What do you call an Italian with a rubber toe?
Robertoni?
Roberto.
Why would an Italian have a rubber toe?
Because his name's Roberto. That's what he's named after, his toe.
Okay, I got it. I'm with it. If everyone have any good jokes out there, they're better than ours. I have some that would not be appropriate for. Would be the end of my life as a broadcaster. Best investment after your career? Your family.
Yeah, I mean, you could avoid the question and say your family. Best investment was Mallorca. It's been amazing. Like, not monetarily, it's been a best investment because it's been so much fun, rewarding. We're learning a ton.
We're into the winter break in first place.
Yeah, we're first place, but we've gone down since we bought the team. We're hopefully gonna go back up and go back up again. But
trip over there in the spring.
We'll be back over there in the new year. But I personally feel like I'm learning so much, and that's what life is all about. Never stop learning.
No,
Sorry, I put you to sleep there.
Never stop learning. No, I was gonna say that I think owning a soccer team was an all-time dream of mine. And to that in 2017, or did we start that in 2016?
We started in 15.
15?
Yeah.
That long ago?
Because we went down in 16. 2 years. Crazy, right? Life is. Let me throw out another cliche. Life is flying by.
Life. All right, we'll take. Let's do 2 more questions. What is your favorite trick move to pull on the bros of the Playa Premier League? He throws his hip out every now and again. I just try to get one past Barthez. And
drop my hairline every
If I score Barthez, I normally go home a happy man. If you haven't seen Kickin' for Houston yet, it will be showing again on Saturday on 10 a.m. Eastern. Just to
we should do some repackaging and put it out on Two Dads of like some of the stuff that went on, because it was awesome. Raised a lot of money. We learned a lot, and we also had a blast playing in the game. So
that's the only reason I wanted to do the game in the first place.
I know it's my Super Bowl.
Play on a field again, and first field I've walked off in a while, professional field, without being hurt. So that was good.
And unlike we talked about, it was for me. It's always a pleasure to play with like pro soccer players. But
you know what Landon said to me after, and he said I wish we could have done. I think I told you, but 10 minutes at the end, only the pros and you, and just let's go. You know, just crank it up, battle it out, put something on the line, and just compete. Because as much as you get into that environment, you're like, it's a charity game, and everyone's like doing some flicks and tricks and scoring some goals, and then slowly as the game went on, you start to see some, the shoulders are banging around, and Dwayne's driving it forward at the end, even though, I let him score in the last one, but.
No, you're right. I mean, I think Landon actually mentioned that to me in the game, and it's hard unless it's pre-organized.
No,
it'd be a great.
I think what made that cool though is that you had like Scott Kelly, an astronaut, right? Like accomplished going into outer space. Sure. We talk about when you're growing up, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a pro athlete. That guy has been in outer space longer than. Anyone ever, and he was a great sport, space.
Right? I'm good.
You're good. I would think that would be sick.
Oh, it'd be amazing, but it's too scared. He obviously has the balls. I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, I guess I've seen all those.
I'm good on Earth.
Go up and.
But let's not go there.
Okay.
But I mean, I will say one thing though. Being on the field with all these guys is awesome. But Clint Dempsey, to be on the field with him.
He's a good player, man.
Guy's pretty good. It was interesting to see what a different level he's at.
Who was a basketball player that you played with that you would say was different level? Because I would have said that about when I played with Landon or Clint and some of these guys, Garrett Cahill. You're on the field and you're kind of like, all right, this is a damn good player.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily I got to play against some of the greatest players of all time. I played against Jordan. I played against Dirk, Tim Duncan, Kobe, Shaq. You go down the line. I played against all these guys and with some of them, and so all these guys, you're like, wow, they're doing things where you're like, there's nothing you can do. And then there's other guys that work great too, but Vince Carter, the game was easy for him. Even I played with him when he was probably 36 and wasn't quite the high wire act that he was, but this guy could always get a shot, always so smooth. I mean, even at this point, he wasn't jumping nearly what he used to, but he long arms, skilled, could always get open, could always get a shot, was never in a rush, could stretch out off one dribble from wherever and reverse lay it in. I mean, it was crazy to see him at you know, a portion of his best athletically and still be like, you know, better than everyone. You know, like. So you think there's so many guys in the NBA and obviously in soccer that are so talented. But for me, like being on the field with Clinton, just seeing how everything was so.
Let's say you forgot Grant Hill.
Grant, amazing. Grant, like
LeBron.
Grant's one of those guys that like I think people have forgotten how good he was. Like Grant had a second career where he was very good, but his first career before he had his injuries. He went
to Duke, right?
He went to Duke, and then he came to the NBA, and he was LeBron before LeBron. Now, obviously, that's a bit of an overstep because of what LeBron's accomplished, but Grant was that good that he was tearing the league apart, still a young, developing player. Before his injuries, he was so good. But then, you know, part of it is that he got hurt, but part of it is that people remember the Grant after the injuries, who was very, very good, made an all-star game or two. But it wasn't
have the same
It wasn't the
explosiveness
same, and I think it makes people forget a little bit how brilliant he was. Like he was such an incredible player, destined for, you know, like the highest levels of the game, and you know, it was taken from him through injuries, something that you can relate to. But but look at him. He's like, I'd vote for him for president. He's an owner of an NBA team now.
He is? Which team?
Atlanta.
Really?
He's part of the ownership group. He has like incredible business ventures. He's, you know, he's on NBA Inside Stuff. His TV. He has a great family. I mean, this guy's an incredible role model.
So you're his agent as well.
He's Junior Barack.
So you're his agent.
It's unbelievable.
How much you getting paid?
I wish. The guy's.
How much you getting paid?
He can afford. I think off the FILA contract, he can afford to pay me still when he was 20 years ago.
All right, guys. We calling it?
We call it.
Happy holidays. 2 Dads United. We might sneak one in before New Year's.
Yeah. Let's try to get one in next week. So we appreciate you guys checking us out. Have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you.
Get on our channels, guys. 2 Dads United on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
More importantly,
YouTube, we're posting all of these videos. We'll chop them up with some of the. I know we don't have a cool guest today. Someone was asking for John Nash on there. I mean, I don't want to tell John.
Don't ever tell him that.
We've had some great guests in 2017. 2018 promises a lot more.
But back for more. But more importantly than following us and, you know, coming on our channels is let us know what you think. Let us know what you're interested in and what we could chat about. Yeah,
if you've watched more than 5 minutes, thank you. If you watch more than 20 minutes, we'll send you a nice bottle of champagne because I think that's 0 people.
It's all right.
Anyways. All right. We're out of here. Peace.
Bye-bye.
You got to swipe this one down, mate.
There you go.
You don't have a clue what you're doing. Stop it.
Okay, you do it.
All right, right here.
Well done.
Go. Okay, we're done.
Let me end this one then. Or should we keep it going?
Stop. No, it's not. Luke, you almost stitched this up. That would be a good stitch up.
Oh my goodness.
This one had a ton for a while.
Did it?
You know, the Instagram one doesn't have as many, I think, because we don't get to engage with that one as much because it's further away.
Back is shot. Like a little looky dookies. So, should I post?
Yeah.